The NATO leader. It sounds impressive, especially as it describes Poland. It is Poland that allocates a record 4.48% of its GDP to defence. We are ready to use this money as best we can for the transformation and modernisation of the Polish army, for building the strongest defence capabilities in Europe, to build this strength of Poland, the strength of the alliance, to defend our values. Most NATO countries are increasing their defence spending after Donald Trump put security at the cutting edge. In 2024, 8 or 9 of the Allied countries did not meet the 2% target. A year later, they all declare 5%. This would have been impossible if the issue had not been clearly stated. Europe, you have to do more. The government emphasises that defence spending next year will amount to 200 billion zloty. Law and Justice MP Andrzej Śliwka points out this figure is misleading because it includes extra budgetary funds, some of which are expenditures that should not be counted as defence spending. If we look more deeply into this budget, we will see that the funds spent on the technical modernisation programme, that is the funds that are to be allocated to modernisation, are lower than this year. Similarly, when it comes to research and development, that is spending on innovation, it is 300 million zloty less. Funds for innovation in Poland account for only 1% of the military budget. Meanwhile, South Korea allocates approximately 33% of its defence budget to modernisation and research and development, and Taiwan allocates 22.5%. Even Ukraine, which has been at war for 3.5 years, is able to allocate 20% of its defence budget to innovation. In the EU alone, over 2% of the military budget goes to innovation, while in the United States it is 4%. What is happening in Ukraine? This war is being fought using completely different techniques and tools than we imagined before the war, including drones, so these innovations are very important. It's worth spending money on it because innovation is not just about combat power. Defence also means field security for people who will need medical care. It also means drug security, and I think that the national drug factory and these innovations, or at least the production of critical drugs, will be extremely necessary in a war. The Ministry of National Defence should create a startup incubator. That is, young engineers who want to contribute their products to the potential of the Polish armed forces but do not have the capital to start their own businesses should receive funding, because where the money is spent is also crucial. The announcements are promising. It is very important to me that we not only buy the best quality equipment, but that we also manufacture the best quality equipment and promote it around the world. But here too there is a problem, because most of the money is to be spent on purchases abroad. We all remember how Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz and the Third Way said that 50% of defence spending would go to the Polish arms industry. If you check the statistics, they absolutely did not keep their promise, and the Polish arms industry, especially under the Law and Justice government, has developed very strongly. This can be seen in the example of anti-drone systems. One of the companies in Gdynia manufactures them using components that do not need to be imported from abroad. Unfortunately, the technology is purchased elsewhere. We buy such systems abroad. Recently a contract was signed with Sky Ranger, a German company. We are investing our funds, our budget outside the country, which is unacceptable, because we should be investing it in our own country. The ammunition factory construction project has also been significantly delayed. The entire project was prepared at the end of the Law and Justice government's term. It was then audited, thrown in the trash, and now Donald Tusk's government is coming up with an initiative to build this factory. So 2 years have been wasted. But looking at this government's track record, I don't think this factory will ever be built. It would seem that the government should not need to be reminded that there is a war going on beyond our eastern border, and that Russian drones have flown into Polish territory in recent days. It would seem so.